So let's assume that we've followed your helpful advice. We've worked on our strike. We've got a little bit more centered. We've got a great setup, which is encouraging an ascending angle of attack. How do we create the speed?
Okay.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Kerrod Gray here on the range today with Andrew Rice from Golf Fanatics at the Raptor Bay Golf Club in Naples, Florida. Today, we're talking all about increasing your distance. Andrew right here is going to give you your 3 big keys to ensure that you're getting the most out of your swing speed. Andrew, thanks very much for coming along.
Kerrod, lovely to be joining you, mate.
Absolutely. Let's get into it.
Nice.
Came off pretty hot, right?
Sounded pretty good.
So Andrew, what would you say would be your 3 keys to get more distance out of golf shots, regardless of skill level? What are you looking for?
Kerrod, I think, we've got to talk a little philosophy here, okay? It's a lot of coaches talk about different things, but I think if we look at what we've learned from TrackMan and radar, ball flight, we've got to go with impact location.
Okay.
Club delivery, how that club is being delivered to the back of the ball, and club speed.
Yeah.
Those are the 3, really.
Yeah.
If we can hit the ball at the appropriate part of the face with a driver, if we're talking driver, with a rising club head, it doesn't have to be a lot, fairly neutral path, and we crank up the speed, it's only going to go far.
Recipe for distance. Recipe
optimal, exactly. I like to think of things, everybody's got their optimal. We've all got our own club speed. I wish I had yours, man. I wish I had your club speed, certainly. But it's something I'm working on. I'm having a lot of fun with it. But whatever your club speed might be, there's a maximum distance you can hit the ball.
Sure.
In order to hit the ball 300 yards, you have to be fully maximized, fully optimal, and you have to swing at around 109 miles per hour, okay, in order to make it go 300 yards. I know you guys talk meters. Over here in America, we're talking yards.
Somewhere in between.
Okay,
Yeah.
somewhere in between. You got the right idea.
Let's start with the efficiency of strike in regards to the strike spray.
Feedback. Okay, feedback. Strike spray. We're going to spray the face. Okay, we don't need too much. Just a light spritzing on the face there. And ideally, Kerrod, what we're going to look for here, you're pretty good. I think you can do this. Ideally, what we're going to look for is, we certainly don't want anything excessive here. Fairly centered, but the thing I like to look for is just a little bit above center.
Okay. So if we would put a little dot as a reference somewhere around about there?
Round about there is lovely. Okay,
perfect.
1 dimple above center. If you could dial that in, come on, show us what you got, mate.
All right, let's see it. Let's see it.
I'm going to say pretty close. So, pretty nice work if you can get it. I would say it's 1 dimple high and 1 dimple heeled. So and I've seen you hit a couple of shots today. You haven't hit any that have had a little fade. That one had a hint of a fade to it. I would have put my money on heel strike.
For sure.
Slight heel strike.
And if we were to draw like a vertical line straight up the center, we can see it's like slightly towards the heel.
The curvature of the club face helps that fade bias work out.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's gear effect that causes the ball to curve.
Okay.
And then the curvature of the face, because the ball's going to curve to the right, the curvature of the face counters some of that by launching it a little bit more to the left.
Great.
Okay.
So when we are looking at the club face and we're discussing with players of all levels, regardless of where they're at, just identifying where the ball strikes on the face is a valuable skill to develop to then be able to just use the strike spray or something similar just to identify where the ball is and actually just work on hitting a different part of the face.
Correct. And we did a little bit of this today. If you can hit the ball out the heel intentionally, if you can hit the ball high toe intentionally, now you can certainly find the center. Okay, and so have some fun with it. Develop some of that skill that we talk about. But impact location is huge.
Fantastic. So that's number 1. Number 2, we were talking about club delivery. Okay, let's talk about that. How can we improve that if we're looking for a little bit more overall distance?
Kerrod, I think we got to go to setup here. I think setup is a cool place to start for getting this club head to be rising. Correct. We don't need a lot up. We just need something a little bit up, a couple of degrees.
Okay.
Go ahead and set up to this ball. Let's check this out. Okay. As you would normally. Okay.
Okay. As
ball position on the inside part of your lead foot. One thing I'm seeing here is this lovely look of you've got your spine tilted away from the target ever so slightly. It looks to me, I like to say, it looks to me like you're set up to hit up.
Great.
Okay, you're set up to launch this ball up into the air. A great little way to do it is get yourself set up there. Take 3 golf balls, and you're going to plop 3 golf balls on the ground, a grip length forward of the golf ball you're about to hit. And if your club head is traveling up, you will miss those 3 balls with your club. Let's see it.
We will miss those. All right, let's set up to it. Off we go.
Cool, that made you work a little bit there.
Yeah, that was good. Well,
okay.
I naturally hit down a little bit more on it.
I see that.
And I used to be a player that set up with my upper body very stacked on top. And we see a lot of amateur golfers do that, don't we?
Yes, yes, we've seen it a lot.
Hence why we see a lot of downward strikes, a lot of curvature. So adding a little bit more of this tilt to our body is just going to help that club rise a little bit more. Great skill development exercise once again. Place a couple of balls about a grip length in front. That'll help that club rise.
Intent as well. I think let's not undervalue intent. Once the player learns, hey, I've got to hit up, I want to try to get this ball up in the air. High tee shots will be typically longer than low tee shots.
Sure.
Okay, let's get this ball up in the air, change that intent. Now we're off to the races.
Okay. Last, third and final, what do we got?
Last but not least, okay, we've got speed. Okay. Let's get those 3 out of there. They've done their job. And so, Kerrod, from here, when we're talking yards, a good rule of thumb, if we were to flip it to meters, it's quite easy. 2.75 yards per mile per hour. Okay, that's the max we can get unaided. If we're downwind or downhill or a really firm fairway, we can get more than 2.75 yards. Meters, 2.5. Let's just flip it and call it 2.5 in meters, 2.75 in yards. That's the max we can get. So I see people who swing the driver, let's keep it easy for me, at 100 miles an hour, and they drive the ball 275, and they say for the level of golf that they play at, for where they compete, should they be a competitive golfer, they need to hit it longer than that. Well, the only other resource we've got is speed. Now we've got to tap into that. It's not about striking it better. It's not about club delivery. Now all we've got left is speed. So now we've got to ramp that speed up. How can people get more speed? Set up to this. Okay, great. So let's assume that we've followed your helpful advice. We've worked on our strike. We've got a little bit more centered. We've got a great setup, which is encouraging an ascending angle of attack. How do we create the speed? Okay. We've got to get the hand path to travel as far as possible. Okay. So you stay there. I'm going to take you back. Let's go. We're winding, keep going, keep going. This handle's on a long, long journey there. I feel that. Okay, that. And so I love to get players to feel that and hold them there. Get them a little uncomfortable. Get them to stretch that. And so the further back we can get it, it's no accident that the longest hitters in the world get that club pretty much pointing at the ground, simply because physically they can. Most people that you and I teach, and you and I certainly can't get it there, but that's got to be the intent. That should be our objective, is to try to get those hands as high and as far back as possible, and then from there, hit the gas. And we generally see a lot of short hitters of the golf ball frustrated with getting or wanting more distance, keep their chest down for far too long, don't they? Exactly. They don't get that extension in their spine. So that extension, and we think about relating this to any other sport, you need to extend and compress your body to create more power, exert more force into the ground. That translates into club head speed, right? It sure does. Great. So how am I going to feel this at the top? I'm just feeling that chest to the sky, the hand path getting as deep as I can. I'd love for you to feel like you're going to get these hands as high and as far along as you can. Yeah, perfect. Okay. All right. You're going to reach. You're going to hoist this handle up there. I'm going to have to feel like it's probably taking a little bit more time to get there as well. Well said. Yeah. Okay. Great. Nice big extension. All right. Let's put these 3 together. Let's see if I can get some more miles per hour on that golf ball. Not that you need it, mate. I know without doing that, you're in the 120s. Okay? He doesn't need that, I promise you. But I certainly do. I'm sure if you're watching, you do. And that's going to help the everyday golfer out there, no doubt.
Absolutely. So 3 keys to look for to increase your distance. Number 1, we've got figure out your strike location. Number 2 is improve the delivery of that club, get a little bit more of an ascending angle of attack. Number 3 is all about creating more extension and depth or movement of that club handle behind you, so you've got more time and potential power on the way through.
Exactly.
Andrew, thanks very much.
Kerrod, thanks. That was great. Cheers, mate.